My name is Jeremy, and this is Going for Broke Outdoors and the story of my elk hunting journey. I'm a former Michigander, and I moved to Montana to chase my dreams of hunting western big game. After spending most of my life in Michigan, I moved to Montana in July of 2012. That story is too long to tell here, but a job offer back in Michigan cut my first Montana adventure short in October of 2012. I didn't establish Montana residency in 2012, and I never hunted a single day. In September of 2017, I returned to Montana for the first time in 5 years as a non-resident to chase elk with archery equipment. I hunted with my buddies Brandon and Sam, Montana natives, and my soon-to-be new friend Scott. I had a general tag, so we hit some higher elevations in western Montana, and thanks to Brandon's knowledge of the area, we were able to get on some elk. I even got to full draw on a solid 6x6 bull. He was 30 yards away, but unfortunately, the public land boundary was 25 yards. We ran into a little adversity on that trip, but we overcame. The trip ended with Brandon tagging a cow and a realization that I'd be moving back to Montana as soon as I could make it work. In December of 2018, I interviewed for a job in Montana and received a job offer. In January of 2019, I sold my house in Michigan and I moved back to Montana for the second time. Shauna wasn't thrilled, but she's come around since. In 2019, I started to do some filming. I linked up with Tim, another recent transplant from New York who I met through a hunting forum online. Tim and I were both very green, but we managed to get on some elk in the general unit that fall, and Tim even managed to launch an arrow or two. In 2020, I drew my first limited entry elk permit, the now discontinued 900-20 archery only elk permit. I spent a lot of time in the field that fall, and I had one close, but not quite close enough call with a solid bull. I took my lessons learned from 2019 and 2020 into the 2021 season.
Well, got an elk bugling a couple hundred yards from me, so I'm right on the edge of the public though, so not a whole lot of room to work. Maybe I'll get lucky.
On this particular morning, I was on a smaller parcel of land that sees a fair amount of hunting pressure. I closed the distance on this herd with the nearest cow being approximately 80 yards away. I spotted a raghorn bull in the herd, and I decided I'd take a shot if he got within range. This was shortly after sunrise, and this herd was slowly feeding back towards a bedding area behind me.
Boy, that was fun. I watched those elk for like 20 minutes, and then something spooked them. It wasn't me, because they ran at me. So I got to full draw, and then ran up this hill right in front of me. The one lead cow saw me, and they turned this way. And they all ran by at like 30 yards, but no shots. There's only one bull in there, like a rag. Oh, that's why. Here's a hunter over here. Cool, buddy. Thanks. So I ran into that other hunter, and we got a bull going like 100 yards away. We heard a bugle like 3 or 4 times. It's pretty close. He's got a good wind, I think, so we'll see what happens. Could get exciting here.
It did not get exciting. The random guy I met that morning also blew up the second bull. As we were discussing his stalk, we spotted a spike bull working our way.
Got the elk butt decoy. The spike's walking right into it. He's like 30 yards. Oh, this is ridiculous.
I should also note here that I had never met this guy before. I don't do a whole lot of cow calling myself, but this guy decided to go full Doug Flutie on his call the entire time this spike walked in.
He's literally like 25 yards right now. How close do you think he'll get, Rich? Yeah, I know. You can be able to grab him pretty soon. About to wind us here in a second. Yep, there he goes.
Somewhere around this time, I realized that the prairie elk bugle more at night than they do during the day. I started deliberately driving around after dark or before sunrise to listen for bugles that could help me get onto bulls the following day. Locating bugling bulls in the dark started putting me into better areas with more elk, bigger bulls, in some cases both.
Me and Tim hiking into super top secret elk hunting hole. Let's take this route, Tim says. That is a rattlesnake that I almost just stepped on, little one. Thank God we didn't step on that. We're already a mile out here. Hey Tim, what just happened?
Almost stepped on a rabbit.
So me and Tim are out here, first time in this area. Cyber scouted it. We've been in here about where we're gonna camp, 10, 15 minutes. And we've seen 3 bulls already, so I think we're in the right area.
On the second evening of our 3-day spike camp, I called the bull into 40 yards. Tim got a photo as I came to full draw behind the decoy. I ended up hitting that bull square in the shoulder, and unfortunately, I only got about 4 inches of penetration. That bull almost certainly lived, and he was never recovered. In 2022, I did not draw a limited entry elk permit, but my cousin Joe did. Joe's a career Navy guy, and he was getting ready to retire. He drew the same limited entry area that I got familiar with the past few years, so I tagged along and I filmed Joe's hunt. I learned more lessons in 2022, specifically that public land elk hunting is never easy. Fast forward to 2023, I was back on my own and I found an area that was absolutely loaded with elk in the early season. I didn't know it yet, but I was about to have some of the closest calls I'd ever had on bull elk. At this point, I could hear at least 3 bulls bugling within 300 yards of my position. One of the bulls was just out of sight and I could hear him raking brush at what I guessed to be 80 yards. Unfortunately, this bull ends up spotting me and he takes off here on the right side of the screen. I could tell in real time that was a good bull, and watching the video back here during the edit, it was definitely a good one. I was pretty bummed, but I could still hear at least 2 other bulls, so I continued in their direction. After those cow calls, I could tell that this bull was super fired up. I started closing the distance, looking for a place with some shooting lanes to set up. As I arrived at the edge of this opening, I could tell the elk were closing in fast. Catch my first glimpse of this bull here. It's a herd bull, and it is the biggest bull I've ever seen with a tag in my pocket. I'm not gonna lie, it was surreal to see such a big bull just 75 to 80 yards away. Here, the bull gets behind the trees. He's starting to push the cows from the left to the right. As he enters the opening, I prepare to shoot. Just then, the bull speeds up and he gets mixed in with the cows as I draw my bow. Even though I've got a few seasons under my belt, I haven't had a lot of encounters and I'm still pretty green. I don't have a reed in my mouth, so I'm not able to cow call, and he's moving through my shooting lane faster than I expected. I try and stop him like a whitetail. It doesn't work very well. And that is how you blow an opportunity on a giant bull.
Well, this opening right here, that bull trotted through it. I couldn't get him to stop there. I didn't have that great of a shot, but I shot it anyways. And it looked like as soon as I shot, he was turning to run away. I know I didn't hit him, but I'm gonna go look for my arrow here. Needless to say, I'm pretty bummed. Okay, it's Thursday, September 28th. Got back out here today. Got today, tomorrow, well, 4 days, Thursday through Sunday to hunt. It's supposed to rain again Sunday, so maybe Thursday through Saturday. I pulled in, and it's 3 o'clock now, but it was 2 o'clock. You can see pretty good in this area, so I got my spotter out, and I glassed up 3 bulls and a bunch of cows, and I'm moving in on them now. I got a small herd and spotted. There's a solid 6-point bull in there and a raghorn that I'd probably shoot too. I was about 600 yards away from him. I let him get out of sight. Making a move now, probably only 300-400 yards. The wind died right off, so that's going to make it tough, but gotta give it a go. They're on a pretty good spot. A couple of ridges to work with and stuff, so we'll see.
I ended up losing track of that herd. I had a several mile hike back to my truck, and on the way, I pick up another herd with a solid bull in it. I'm caught in the open here with only my 2-dimensional decoy for cover. The grass is ankle high, and there's hardly even a sagebush to try to hide behind. The bull spooks as I try and draw, and then he stops at what I guess to be 55 yards. Well, it turns out elk duck arrows too. Here it is in slow motion. They don't call it hunting for nothing.
Would you look at that? I've walked past this area probably 10 times this year. There's one. Oh, the rare match set. Pretty cool. Gonna grab those.
My last archery elk hunt of 2023 occurred the first weekend in October. I saw this bull, but I never got close enough for a shot. Later that same weekend, I saw this bull. It was the 3rd time I'd seen him that season, but the first time on the public land side of the fence. As he approached, I repeatedly and nervously ranged the sagebush at 37 yards. I drew back, shot, and watched in disbelief as my arrow hit a foot low of my aim point. Honestly, I couldn't believe it. I paced off the sagebush at 53 paces. I bought a new rangefinder the next day. Yeah, I know, excuses. In September of 2024, I was back at it again, and I was more confident than ever, despite all the blown opportunities the year before. At the same time, a part of me was also starting to wonder if I was ever going to kill a bull. In the off season, I sold my Tacticam camera and planned to buy a DJI Action 5. However, the Action 5 release was delayed that year, and I didn't have a run and gun camera heading into the fall of 2024. This was the opening morning of the 2024 archery season. About 2 minutes after I recorded this bugling, that bull appeared. He came within range, I drew my bow, I stepped out to shoot, and I stepped directly on a pine cone. Well, that was the end of that. The bull bolted over the ridge and out of my life for good. As you can see, I was into the elk right away. A couple of days into the season, I arrowed a really nice bull on a 35-yard shot. I thought I hit him perfectly. I could see my arrow sticking out as the bull ran away, so I knew exactly where I'd hit him. The shot looked 100% fatal to me. I waited an hour, and I started looking for blood. After 2 hours, I still hadn't found a single drop of blood, despite having some great landmarks and some tracks to work off. It's hard to believe this shot didn't produce a better blood trail, or really any blood trail that I could find. I looked for this bull for 2 full days. I ran into another hunter on day 2, and he helped me look for a few hours. We exchanged numbers, and on day 3, that hunter texted me he'd found the bull. It was over 1,000 yards from the shot location, and the only thing that makes sense to me is a 1-lung shot. I went and recovered the bull, but it had been 70 degrees for 3 days in a row, and the meat was completely spoiled. I did call the game warden and explain the situation. I tagged the bull, salvaged the antlers, and sent the warden GPS coordinates to the bull in case anyone else happened upon it. This definitely was not the way I dreamed of tagging my first bull. 2025 was rough. All the spots that I had accumulated over the past several years were completely dead. September came and went, and I was trying completely new areas in the early part of October. On October 9th, 2025, after a dozen or more fruitless hunts, I finally got into some elk. That is one of the more unique bugles that I've ever heard. As you can tell, this area is relatively thick. I could hear the elk, and I was trying to catch up, but not so quickly that I blew the herd out in the process. I stopped at the edge of this opening for several minutes. I figured, with my luck, as soon as I tried to cross it, the elk would appear and I'd get busted. Yep, wouldn't you know it, there's a cow. After this cow bust out, I finish crossing the opening. I stop almost immediately because I can hear elk walking around me, and I can tell they're close. Here, I catch a flash of movement through the trees, and I stop trying to get a better look. It's hard to tell on the action cam, but that is a pretty good looking bull, at least to me. I draw my bow as soon as he starts to move. This bull is inside of 30 yards. I can see his silhouette through the trees, but there's no clear path to the vitals. I've been standing here motionless for 4 or 5 minutes. At this point, I have no idea if that bull kept going, if he's waiting me out, or if he just straight up disappeared. Impatience gets the best of me. I take a few steps out, and I can see him moving again. He's still inside of 40 yards. Then he stops again at 30 yards, but he's still heavily obscured by the underbrush. After multiple stalemates inside of 30 yards, I see the bull start to move again. I draw again, knowing that I can't shoot him where he's at, but the optimist in me hopes his curiosity will bring him my way. Unfortunately, this bull has seen enough. He walks off silently, and I never fire a shot. That bull didn't smell me, and I never really spooked him badly. At this point, I pull an audible, and I turn 180 degrees, hoping to run into one of the remaining satellite bulls. From the bugles in the morning, I know there are multiple bulls in the area, but I've only seen one. Oh boy, now I'm sure there's another bull. I catch a silhouette moving through the trees on the other side of this opening. The camera can't see him here, but I can see him through the trees. I look around trying to determine where he's going to exit. Oh, now I see him. He's heading straight at me. And just like that, after several seasons, tons of heartbreak, and countless miles, I've got a good arrow and an even better bull.
Well, that was pretty insane. I had a wild morning here. That was the third bull I had in bow range. I didn't get the other one on video, but I got the first one. I didn't get the second one. That one came out about 30, 35 yards. I shot for 35. I could tell, it's going to be hard to see on the action cam, but I could tell, looked like right behind the shoulder. Height looked good, so I think I drilled him. Looked like a monster bull too. Monster for me anyway, so I hope I can find this thing. I am very nervous and also very excited right now. So this is as good as I've felt about anything I've shot though, elk-wise, so fingers crossed. Oh, thank God we got good blood. Here's the blood trail. There he is. There he is. Holy shit. Looks like he's still moving a little bit, but he's pretty well toast. Holy shit. Oh, this is insane. Oh, I did it. Finally fucking did it. Oh. Well, I'm overwhelmed right now. Pretty darn nice bull too. Man, this has been a long time coming. Long time coming. Years. So many miles. I'm back. Here it is. Shot was a hair back. Not super far back, but probably the liver, maybe the back of the lungs, but oh, really solid bull. Nice 6x6, not giant, but boy, I'm thrilled. Oh boy, couldn't be much more happy with that. Crazy. Now the real work begins. Well, by about 2 hours, maybe a little more, got this guy all broke down. Got the first load on. I got front shoulder, both the back straps, both sides of the neck, and then I got the rest of her sash over here in the shade.
Persistence finally paid off. Thanks for watching, and good luck on your next outdoor adventure.